I don't have a lot of time to write this. Whatever's out there wants in. I can hear it banging on the door and moaning. It's gonna get in eventually. Maybe I can fight it off when it gets in. It was about 3 days ago when people started to, well, disappear. The cops thought there was a serial killer on the loose, but I know better, and hopefully after reading this, you will too. Another creature is pounding on my house, drawn to the incessant wail of the first. Soon there will be too many. I'll be eaten alive if I'm lucky. If I'm not, I'll become one of them. You might be wondering if these things are zombies, but you'd be wrong. They move too fast, they think and they talk. They can imitate your relatives or friends. One of the creatures is imitating my dead wife's voice. Oh, how I wish I could shut them out. Forget everything. I remember my first encounter with these beasts. Before all this, I was working as a night watchman at a local bank. It was a fairly good job, good pay for easy hours, and there was next to no crime in my small town. Maybe a mugging or so, or a hunting permit violation. I was working that one night, dozing off in the manager's office. His chair was leather and very comfy. I slept for perhaps 2 hours. When I came to, I heard a scratching coming from the near front entrance. With my trusty flashlight in hand, I strolled toward the source of the noise. When I approached the front hall, the scratching just stopped. Absolute silence took its place. My town is not famed for being noisy at night, but this was strange. I wandered around for a short while, and deciding nothing was amiss, I went back to the manager's office. I thought I had left a chair by the desk, but now it was by the door, blocking my entry. I wore it off as my bad memory playing tricks on me again, and went back to sleep. I heard a bump soon after. I think it was maybe an hour or so. It sounded like a car door being slammed, but this was about 1 in the morning, so everyone should have been asleep. The noise was not coming from outside the bank. The bumping sped up until it sounded almost like a heartbeat. I'm not a cowardly man, or so I'd like to believe, but on that warm summer night, I was shaking. The heartbeat continued. It sounded like it was in the main hall. I ran in there, and as soon as I stepped foot in the room, the sound stopped again. All sound stopped. A cold sweat ran down my back. I was so scared. I shone my flashlight around. "Is anybody here?" I asked foolishly. Someone, no, something responded.
"Yes, we are here,"
the voice said. "Who's we? And what are you doing here? The bank is closed," the thing chuckled.
"We are your worst nightmares, and we are here to remind you of this."
The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. "Me personally?" I asked.
"All humans,"
the voice replied after a few seconds. "You speak as if you are not human," I retort. I feel like this is Narnia on crack, except you don't need to jump into a wardrobe. It's all around already, and there are no good creatures in this dark world. I heard another laugh.
"We are the monsters that hide in the back of your mind. We are not humans."
This unnerved me, so I shined my flashlight in the voice's direction. The heartbeat started up again as my light revealed a surprisingly normal-looking human. He was of moderate build and had short brown hair. His back was to me, so I could not see his face. His clothes were patched and frayed around the hems. He slowly turned around, and the sight of his face sent me running back to the manager's office. His face was decaying, like food that had gone bad, and it's got fungus all over it. The heartbeat sound magnified when he raised his hand. He laughed as a still-pumping heart dropped from his hand and landed with a splat on the floor. I stayed in that office until dawn. The man had vanished. As I was about to leave the bank and never look back, something dripped on my shoulder. I put my fingers to the drops, and they came back red. I looked up and screamed. A woman was affixed to the ceiling, with her chest ripped open and her heart missing. I left that place immediately. I didn't even wait for the cops, which I would usually do. I drove to my scheduled cabin and stayed there for 2 days. Next to no food, barely any water, and now here I am, still writing. Maybe someday you, whoever you might be, will find this. The world's been overrun. Perhaps you know this already. My daughter is now screaming for me to come outside, to save her from the scary people. I know this is a trick. Her blood-curdling scream breaks my heart, but I know my daughter is dead. That can't be her. Can it?